Hello everyone and welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas finale live stream on the Bring Your Own Popcorn channel. How are we all doing on this fine Christmas Eve? Let me know in the chat how you're doing this evening. A very Merry Christmas to everyone here. It says I have 4 viewers right now, which is great. Let me know down in the chat if you're here. And yeah, we'll get cracked on with the stream. So, thank you for all the support you've shown my newest series on the channel, which is the 12 Days of Christmas. Really overwhelmed by the positive comments I've got on the series, because it did require a little bit of hard work. It required me watching 12 Christmas films and writing long reviews and filming them, so I'm glad you all seem to enjoy the new series. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every one of the films that I watched in the 12 Days of Christmas into a tier list. And if you don't know what a tier list is, a tier list looks like this. So as you can see, I've got all 12 films here. And I'm just going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Definitely, here we are. 12 films here. And we have the tier list system. So what will happen is I will go through a film, I will give you my thoughts on it in a little bit more detail than I did in my review, because I do have to keep my reviews semi-short, because who wants to really watch me ramble about a film for half an hour in a YouTube review? So I try and keep them roughly 10 minutes as my kind of average length for a review. Daniel Gillies, Merry Christmas, Squire. Merry Christmas to you too, Daniel. I literally saw Daniel about half an hour ago, so it's good to see you here, mate. If you're watching, please let me know in the comments, and we'll get a good chat going. So yeah, I'm just going to go through each of the films one by one and give my more detailed thoughts on them. And we're going to rank them into this tier list system, which goes from amazing all the way to bad. Now, in the 12 Days of Christmas, I did get quite a varied selection of films. I wanted to do that. I didn't want every film to be the same review, like, oh, this was good, it was Christmassy, 7 out of 10. Like, I didn't want the same, to have the same thoughts for each film. So I did pick a varied amount of films, and we have got films that range from amazing to bad in these 12 movies. So, without further ado, I think we'll get things started. And as I said, we go from amazing all the way to bad, and they will be ranked individually within their tiers, which means by the end of this, we will have a ranking of all 12 of these films from best to worst. So, once again, if you have joined us, please comment below. We can get a good chat going. If you've seen any of these films and you want to tell me your thoughts on them, please do. It'd be great to get a conversation going in the chat about these movies, because I love to hear loads of different people's opinions. And my opinion's not the right opinion, it's just my opinion. So I love to get as many comments as I can and as many opinions as I can about these films. So, without further ado, we are going to start with Klaus. Now, bearing in mind, I'll let you in a little secret here. Actually, hold on, I'll just switch it to webcam. I'll let you in a little secret. Come. I started watching these movies in November. I started watching these films way back in November in order to get this series done, basically. So Klaus, I watched at the start of November. So it's been a while since I watched Klaus. But in terms of my thoughts on Klaus, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic film. I did have some issues with it, which I detailed in my review. I thought it played it safe. Well, it didn't necessarily play it safe, but in terms of a script, it played it a little bit safe in places. The ending was very quick. It felt wrapped up super quickly. But in terms of the visuals, in terms of the voice performances, everything's absolutely top notch. It's such a wholesome movie, and it's such a interesting story. It's a real original origin story to Santa. Normally, with these Santa origin films, you get what they basically do is they make Santa extremely high tech. It's the only real way they can explain it. Like in Arthur Christmas, for example, everything's extremely high tech. The elves are like spies, and the sleigh's got like rocket boosters on the back, and it's just dumb. It's just dumb in my opinion. I really like the old-fashioned view that this takes. It really makes Santa feel like this ancient being and like something out of a fairy tale almost, which is really nice to see. So if anyone in the chat's seen Klaus, please put your thoughts down below. It'd be great to get a conversation going here, a lot of varied opinions. But I really did enjoy it. And in terms of the character design and the visuals were fantastic in my opinion. They looked absolutely beautiful in my opinion. And the way Santa was designed, normally these films make Santa to be this fat guy, red suit, red nose. Again, the thing that Arthur Christmas done wrong, it's a very stereotypical view on Santa Claus. This film makes Santa like jacked. He's like ripped, and it's just such a original way to portray Santa Claus, and I just absolutely loved that. So, in terms of Klaus, and I'll talk about the voice performances as well. The voice performances were fantastic. I believe it was, I may have a quick Google here, but I believe it was, Jason Schwartzman. He honestly stole the show for me. His voice performance was absolutely fantastic, and J.K. Simmons was really good at Klaus as well. He played a fantastic Santa Claus just from his voice alone. I would really like to see J.K. Simmons play like a live action Santa. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, he is really good. Yeah, the full cast was amazing. So for Klaus, it is one of those films that it hasn't went down in my opinion since I watched it. As I said, it was almost 2 months ago when I watched Klaus for the first time. It hasn't went down in my opinion, and it hasn't went up. It's kind of stayed the same, because you have to understand these reviews. I watch the film, I write my review, I film my review. It is a day process, and sometimes opinions change. Opinions change over time. Like, for example, I've been slowly working through the Alien films. They're done now, thank goodness. But, like, when I first watched Alien and Aliens, I preferred Aliens to Alien. And now I think the original's the better film. So, like, I come off some films with a real high, and eventually they go down in my estimations, and vice versa. Sometimes I come out of a film and I go, that was rubbish, and then I think about it and it creeps up a bit. But Klaus has stayed very much the same for me. Like an 8 out of 10 movie. It's really good. There are some story issues with it. Christmas movies in November? Too early. Yeah, well, normally I'm a no Christmas films till December guy, but I knew I wanted to do this series, and there would be no chance I'd watch 12 films, 12 reviews in a month. Not even a month, up until, when did they start airing? The 13th. So half a month. There was no way in hell I would get that done. So I knew I needed to start this relatively early. But Klaus, I would say, is a great film. I'm saving Amazing for one film in particular, and if people have been watching my 12 Days of Christmas reviews, they'll know what film that is. Jamie says, hi Jack, currently wrapping presents. Worst job ever, lol. Yeah, I got all my wrapping done relatively early this year, which I'm very proud of. Normally I'm a 24th of December wrapper, but I'm very proud of myself. And I got all my Christmas presents bought very early this year as well, so very proud of myself. So yeah, we'll go a great for Klaus. Moving on to Arthur Christmas. Yeah. This film, I went in with a fairly open mind. I did have a mental block about this movie. A very big mental block, might I say. I didn't fancy it at all. I thought it looked incredibly generic. I thought it looked like a bad film, and then when I came to do this series, I was going to add it. I wasn't going to add it in. I was going to replace it with another film called Violent Night, which I still haven't seen, which I really want to watch. And then I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score for this film. It is genuinely insane. Arthur Christmas. 92% on Rotten Tomatoes for Arthur Christmas, with them saying, I accept you. Aardman Animations broadens their humour. Enable ads. Oh, I've got an ad blocker on. Never mind. Enable ads for Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, okay. We're not doing this. But it's got a 92% anyway. Which I thought, surely it must be good. If it's got a 92%, surely it must be good. Jamie says, lucky lol, wish I was organised. Kind of left everything to last minute. Lol. Yeah, that is me most years, mate. I don't blame you at all. That is me most years, but I was actually fairly organised this year. With the videos as well. Like, I've done a video every day. Every one of them pre-recorded, might I add. But I've done a video every day for the last 12 days, which is insane. Finished my Christmas shopping last night. I finished my Christmas shopping the other week, which is, as I said, early for me. So yeah, Arthur Christmas, really high Rotten Tomatoes score. Insanely high, 92%. Like, my favourite film, Christmas film, is Love Actually. Okay? Love Actually, 64%. And and Die Hard. I love Die Hard. What's Die Hard get? 94. So just 2% higher than Arthur Christmas. It's going into bad for me. It was a very generic film. It has went down in my estimation since I done my review. It says we've got 5 viewers watching the stream, which is great. If you're here, please leave a comment. We'll get a good chat going. Let me know your thoughts on any one of these films that I'm going to talk about. I love to hear your opinions. But yeah, Arthur Christmas, it was just bland. It was extremely bland. It was probably one of the most blandest Christmas films I've seen in a long time. When I done my initial review, I gave it the benefit of the doubt because I know that kids would absolutely adore this. I know kids would love this film. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't for me, and for a lot of adults, I don't really see how this would be your thing. I can get how Disney would be your thing because whilst being aimed at kids, it is also very aimed at adults. This just had nothing for adults in it. Absolutely nothing at all. And the way they handled everything, the story was... excuse me. The story was just boring. It was just insanely boring. I genuinely was bored to tears whilst watching this movie. Genuinely was bored during this film than any other film in this list. Which is insane that it's got a 92% Rotten Tomatoes, and I was genuinely bored to tears during it. I gave it a 5 out of 10 when I initially reviewed it. It's probably down to about a 4 now in my head. The only redeeming factor for me is the voice performances. And there's some aspects of the plot I did like. The ending, for example. The ending's wonderful. The ending's a fantastic ending to the story. It's just everything that happened before it does not deserve that ending. It's just not a great animation, and I honestly expected so much more from Aardman. Because Aardman, they do... What have they done? Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep. They do a lot of great animations. Flushed Away, Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep. And it's all normally like stop motion, like plasticine models. So I was expecting a lot more from them, especially after I read that it was Aardman that made this. It gave me a bit of hope for the film. But yeah, didn't love Arthur Christmas at all. The voice performances were good, as I said, especially Jim Broadbent. He was really good. He was really good in the film. He done a really nice voice performance for Santa. Really warm, really cozy. Just a lovely voice performance. And And everyone else was really good. Like James McAvoy plays the lead character. You don't even know it's James McAvoy. Like he's doing such a good performance. In terms of visuals, the visuals are very bland. The colours are okay. I said in my review the colours were awful. They're okay. They're just not spectacular at all. Like with an animation, you have so many possibilities to just make something look as colourful and beautiful as you can make it. And they made it fairly bland. And the character design is awful. The character design is just awful. Arthur Christmas is the most generically designed animated character of all time. Like, picture a dweeb. Picture a dweeb. Okay? Just get one in your head. Does he look like this? It is so generic and so... It's just poor design, in my opinion. If I go to this picture, the only one I liked character design wise, because even Santa is very generically designed, and it's just boring. Like I said about Klaus, like it's such an interesting design, and yeah, here it's just boring. And Mrs. Claus is designed like the Queen, obviously. This guy who's called Steve Christmas. He's the only one that I was like, okay, that's a bit interesting, making this guy look kind of like army general kind of type looking guy. But overall, Arthur Christmas is a bad film in my opinion. So, how's it going, Daniel? I'm talking to Daniel in the chat. Okay, Jamie says storyline was flat. I thought, lol, but I suppose that's most kids' films. Yeah, that's how that was my way of thinking about it when I did the initial review, because I said I didn't love the story, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because kids would probably like this. That's not the point of the review. After that went up and I rewatched it, I was like, that's not the point of the review. The point of the review is for me to give my opinion on it. And in my opinion, the story was bad. And I just think should have been way better than it was. If you stay to the end, guys, that's in the chat, we will be doing a little quiz at the end, which will be really good fun. I've not actually found one yet because I ran out of time, but we're going to do a quiz, so that'll be fun at the end. But I'm going to rank these movies first. So, coming in next is Jack Frost. What's going on in the chat? You're not wrong there, lol. It was pretty bad. That's another thing. Like, everyone I've spoke to about this film, like my friends, and now Jamie is confirming my theory, they don't like this. They don't like this movie. They think it's a bland misfire of a kids' film, and it's just insane that it gets good reviews from critics. Like, what do critics see in this? But yeah, it is definitely a weird one. Okay. Moving on to Jack Frost. So, this film, as I said in my review, I have an interesting history with. It scared the shit out of me when I was younger. I remember, and it was, I don't know if it was my parents who might be watching and will be able to tell me this later, or my grandparents, or someone in the family had a DVD or a VHS copy of this movie. And every year, they put it on. And it's genuinely some of, like, the first 20 minutes is fine. It's completely throwaway, it's fine. Then he changes into the snowman. And that design of the snowman is genuinely one of the most horrifically designed things ever. It looks awful. Like, not just practically, but it's just terrifying. It's look at this. Jack Frost. Look at this. Look at this guy. He is terrifying. Look at him. He is insanely scary. I don't know if that's just me or if anyone else feels like that, but he's terrifying. He would make a fantastic villain in a B-horror movie. I've been saying it for years. But I wanted this Christmas to finally finish it, because they used to put it on. Whoever that had the VHS copy of this used to put it on. I used to sit and watch it till that scene. Till that scene where he transforms into the snowman. I'd put it on and let you see it, but I'm afraid I'd get copyright struck and the stream would stop, so I'm not going to do that. But I got to that scene every year, and I would ask for it to go off, because it is a terrifying scene. And even now, I think it's probably childhood trauma. I was sat watching it, and I was like, this is scary. Jamie says, haha, it's true. I'm glad it's not just me, Jamie, that finds that character absolutely terrifying. But yeah, I just in terms of a film, out with the whole scary nature of the character design, I think that the film's a bad movie. It's absolutely dreadful in my opinion. Again, I gave it a 4 out of 10 when I initially reviewed it. It's probably dropped to a 3. It is an abysmal movie. Again, as I say, the first 20 minutes is fine. It's incredibly generic, but it's fine. I was getting behind it. And then they do the whole... The first 20 minutes is fine. As I said, it's cliched. It is extremely cliched. They do the cliche where... I've seen it in so many movies. Like, I could name literally 10 right now, where it's the whole... This dad who's got a busy job, and he says to his son, I'm going to be at your sports game, or I'm going to be at your show, or I'm going to be at this, or I'm going to be at that. And the dad doesn't make it. And the kid falls out with him, and then something bad normally happens to the dad. And that's the whole moral of the story, whatever. Or you shouldn't take your kids for granted, or you shouldn't blah, 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 whatever. It's such a boring cliche when nothing interesting is done with it. And this film just does that cliche again. It is incredibly boring. It says we've got 5 viewers watching the stream. Thank you for watching, guys. If you're here, please comment below telling me you're here. It'd be appreciated. We'll get a good chat going. As I said, stick around to after I rank these films to do a quiz in which you can participate in the comments. But yeah, after the first 20 minutes, kind of when he transforms into Jack Frost, the film takes a major dip in quality, and it becomes just genuinely unfunny slapstick for about 60 minutes. It's incredibly unfunny. Like, I was surprised. I'm normally a defender of bad comedy. I can normally, even if I don't laugh at a joke, I can normally go, I can see what they were doing with that. I could not see what they were doing with the humour in this movie at all. The humour felt insanely flat. I probably chuckled at a couple of jokes in this film. And the joke to, like, laugh ratio was horrible. It was probably, like, I laughed at probably 5% of these jokes, if you're lucky. And there's a joke at every corner. That's what makes it worse. They pack this film with so many jokes, and they're just not funny. So it's not just a boring experience, it's a painful experience, because there's nothing worse than bad humour. So the jokes are just not funny in this movie, in my opinion. Stuart's Workshop, I'm here. Never turned up for your sports day, but I did turn up for your live stream. Thank you very much, Dad. That's my dad in the comments, if you didn't know. Yeah, so this film, yeah, it's a bad movie. It is a really bad film. The ending is okay. The ending's alright. The performances are okay. Michael Keaton's bad in the movie, which I'm surprised at saying. He's genuinely atrocious in this film. He's sleepwalking through the full thing, hoping for a paycheck. The kid's alright in the film. Mark Addy is in it. The saving grace of this movie. He was the one that actually brought good humour to his character. And yeah, in terms of direction, the film looks appalling. It's just a bad movie in my opinion. It is going right there Bang smack at the end of this tier list. So, quickly, because we've done 3 films, we're going to check in with Santa. As you know, in these live streams, I love looking at a little Santa tracker, see where Santa is in the world. Let's have a little look. So, Santa he's in Gabon. Gabon? Is that how you... He's just left the Democratic Republic of Congo, and he's heading for Moanda, Gabon. And he'll be there in 50 seconds. And he's delivered 3 billion gifts. 3 billion. He's a busy man, what can I say? So let's crack on, and we will do Christmas with the Cranks next. Let me know down in the comments below if you've seen Christmas with the Cranks, what you think of the movie. And also these past 3 films, Klaus, Arthur Christmas, Jack Frost. Let me know what you think of them down in the comments below. It says we've got 5 viewers. So yeah, if you're not chatting, please do. Don't feel nervous to chat. Don't feel nervous to leave your opinion. Again, my opinion's not the right one, it's just mine. And I love to talk to other people about theirs. So Christmas with the Cranks. This is a film that my friend Josh really loves. He adores this movie. He watches it every year. It's like the first film the Christmas film that he watches every year. And I really wanted to check it out for that reason. And I can see why someone would love this. It's like a BTEC Christmas Vacation. So if you haven't seen Christmas Vacation and you watch Christmas with the Cranks first, you'll probably enjoy Christmas with the Cranks more than Christmas Vacation. But it is basically just Christmas Vacation. It's got the same humour as Christmas Vacation. Even a similar story to Christmas Vacation. In terms of what I thought of it, I thought it was an alright movie. It's got an insanely low percentage in Rotten Tomatoes. Like, is it not like 3% or something? Like, I've never actually seen a film with this low a score before. 5%. 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yet Arthur Christmas gets 92. Genuinely think I would rather watch Christmas with the Cranks any day over Arthur Christmas. What did I think of the film? I thought it was alright. I thought the first half of the movie was pretty bad. I was not enjoying it in the first half. I was frankly quite bored with it. Some of the humour was working for me, but most of the jokes fell flat. The characters were okay, but nothing special. It was just a whole load of nothing. I thought I didn't even really care for the story. Like, it was just these characters telling their neighbours that they're going away for Christmas, and the neighbours being like, oh, "You can't go away for Christmas. What about that party that you throw?" And it was basically that joke done about 50 times. So the first half of the movie is incredibly repetitive and frankly quite boring. And then the second half happens, in which they get a phone call from their daughter, and their daughter says, "I'm coming home for Christmas." And the parents go, "Oh, okay, she's coming home for Christmas. We better not go away on our holiday. We better stay and we better throw this party." So at very last minute, they need to throw this amazing party. All that stuff was pretty funny. All the stuff in the latter half I did enjoy. I loved the whole manic atmosphere of trying to throw this party. Trying to throw this party very last minute. I thought, that was pretty funny. But yeah, overall it was just an okay film. The performances were decent. Tim Allen was alright. There's another Tim Allen movie coming up in which he's just far superior. He's okay here. Towards the end, he gives a really nice performance, but he's just, yeah, as I said, a whole lot of nothing. Jamie Lee Curtis is really good. She is actually putting some effort into her performance. And also Dan Aykroyd, he's really good. I thought it would have been very easy to just make him the villain of the movie, but they don't do that. They actually make him quite a well-rounded character, which is nice. and there's a hilarious cop duo. Basically, if Harry and Marv from Home Alone were cops, they'd be the two cops out of Christmas with the Cranks. They were really good. So, overall, a bad first half, a pretty decent second half makes it an alright movie. I would stick it into alright. How are we doing in the chat, guys? Are you enjoying the stream? I'm guessing mic volume and stuff is all okay. Let me know what you think of these films down in the chat below. Moving on to The Holiday. This was another one that I really wanted to include in the 12 Days of Christmas, simply because I tried to watch this a couple of years before, and I'd heard nothing but great things about it. I'd heard some people said it was better than Love Actually. In terms of like rom-com Christmas films, it's Love Actually or The Holiday. You're either a Love Actually person or a Holiday person. Now, a lot of people were telling me this was better than Love Actually, so I was like, I need to check this out. I got halfway through, and I was genuinely bored to tears with it. I was so incredibly bored that I turned it off, and I rarely do that with movies. But I remember going, I don't want to watch this anymore. This is wasting my time. And I switched it off. So I knew this year I wanted to... It was almost a plan that kind of backfired on me, because I thought I would hate it. And I would do this really funny review where I was absolutely hating on it for the full thing. But I really enjoyed it. My words, I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a really enjoyable time, and I didn't think it was as good as Love Actually, but it was a really nice movie. I would probably put it in the great tier. In terms of plot, the film is really split into two. There's a plot happening in the UK with Cameron Diaz and Jude Law, and there's a plot happening in LA with Jack Black and Kate Winslet. And it's similar to Love Actually in the terms of you enjoy most, because Love Actually is obviously multiple stories put into the one movie and they all interconnect. You enjoy loads of the stories in Love Actually, except one normally, and it's always a different one for each person. There's always that one where it cuts to that story and you're like, I wish we weren't following these characters around right now. I'm getting quite bored with this. The Holiday, I was definitely more interested in the Kate Winslet and Jack Black story than I was the stuff going on in England. I was really interested in the whole, not even Kate Winslet and Jack Black, Kate Winslet and the old man who's our neighbour. That story got me, because he's like an old film director, film composer. Again, I've watched this film years ago. Watched this film ages ago, like mid-November. So I'm forgetting. But he's an old Hollywood producer or composer or something, and who stays next door to Kate Winslet. And there's this beautiful story that goes on about friendship and about like being proud of what you've done with your life, and it's just a really nice story. That was honestly the highlight for me. The Kate Winslet and Jack Black love story is brilliant. Jack Black is insanely good in the movie. So is Kate Winslet, but Jack Black is just he's just such a lovable character in this film. And the stuff in England with Jude Law and Cameron Diaz is good. The film just chooses to focus on it too much for me. It chooses to jump to that story too much. But overall, I really like The Holiday. The direction's simple, but it's effective. It's good direction. The performances are great. Really charming script. The humour is actually really nice in it. It's got a real... Even though it was written by an American, it's got a real British sense of humour to it, which I really appreciated. Very similar to Love Actually's humour. Yeah, I think it's a really good film, and if you haven't seen it, I would really recommend it. Especially if you're like me, who was kind of put off with the first... I think I got about halfway through, just under halfway through, and I was bored, but stick with it. It's a really good movie, and I don't know if I've just like grown up a bit, matured a bit, but because even like the first half of the film that I initially didn't like, I liked on this rewatch. Okay, moving on to Miracle on 34th Street, the original. This is a film that I'd been wanting to watch for absolutely years. It was a film that I always remember walking in to my gran watching at Christmas time. Always, not necessarily my gran watching, but it always used to be on the telly at Christmas time. It was this old, nice, cosy, black and white Christmas movie. So I hadn't seen it before, so I wanted to check it out for the 12 Days of Christmas, and then I thought I might as well do the remake and compare the two. In terms of what one I preferred, it was easily the original for me. And looking back at it, the original definitely trumps the remake for me. It's not insanely different. They are quite close in terms of quality, but yeah, the original for me, I'd put into the good tier. I did have problems with it. As I said, the whole film I thought was building to this court case, this epic court case, to prove if Santa is real. And the court case is there. It is present. It only lasts probably about 15-20 minutes. And it feels very shoehorned in at the end. It feels very forced. And yeah, just a bit. It should have been longer. It should have taken up at least half of the movie, in my opinion. And whether they just extended the court case sequence or cut down on other things that were going on in the first kind of 2 acts of the movie, I don't know. But yeah, that was my main problem with the film. In terms of performances, everyone's great. I can't remember the name of the guy that plays Santa. I'm not going to Google it, but he's brilliant. And the little girl in the movies, she's brilliant. Genuinely one of the best kid performances maybe ever. She is really great in this movie. Everyone does a great job, I thought. They are really good. The direction's fine. It's not great direction in my opinion. It is good, but it's just not very unique. It is very generic. It's like you couldn't differentiate the direction from this to other Christmas films that were coming out at the time, like It's a Wonderful Life or like White Christmas or something like that. Like other Christmas films that came out at this time have the same direction style, so it isn't very unique in terms of its direction. But no, I thought Miracle on 34th Street was a good movie. I did have a fun time with it. It had a really charming story, and I really liked how the ending, even though the court case does have a definitive conclusion, the ending is very open to interpretation. Was this man actually Santa or not? It's a very nice ending. It's very well handled, in my opinion. But yeah, my main problem with the film is the court case was by far the best section of the movie, and it's just incredibly short. So yeah, it says we've got 6 viewers in the stream now. Please let me know if you're here down in the chat below. It'd be good to get a conversation started. Moving on to the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. Again, I'm going to put it in the good tier. It's verging from there to there. It's kind of going like that for me. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and put it in the good tier. It is definitely... No, it's going down there. It's definitely worse than the original. There's not much in it. The original is probably a 7 out of 10, and this is probably a 6 out of 10 for me. There's not much in it. But the things that it does extend the court case sequence, which I appreciated. And I thought it is handled pretty well. There's a wonderful speech at the end, really well written by John Hughes. Really great speech at the end of this movie. But it just doesn't feel as fresh as the original did. The original feels like a really nice and fresh and original concept. This feels like, it honestly feels a little bit like a cash grab. It isn't doing much different to the original, and I really want a remake to do its own thing. and this doesn't do it. But the stuff that it does copy, it does pretty well. I have seen any of these. I haven't seen any of these films, if I'm honest. My favourite Xmas movie isn't on your list. What is your favourite Xmas movie, Dad? Put it down in the comments below and we can maybe talk about that for a bit. But yeah, in terms of Miracle on 34th Street, I thought it was a fine film. I thought it was a fine movie. I probably wouldn't rush to watch it again. It had a real darkness to it as well, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't necessarily like that. A lot of films that were coming out around this time had this sense of darkness to it, and I don't think it really suited being in this movie. Like, the Matilda kind of darkness is present in this movie, and I don't think that really suited. But yeah, overall, it is a fine movie. Dad says, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Yeah. It's a great film. It's a great movie. It's a really good choice for a favourite Christmas film. John Candy, Steve Martin. If you haven't seen Planes, Trains and Automobiles, people in the chat, get watching. Mike's review and analysis. Merry Christmas Eve, Jack. Merry Christmas Eve to you too, Mike. It's good to see you here. You're a good supporter of the channel, so it's really nice to see you here. Please let me know your thoughts of these movies as we go through them. So I'll quickly scroll down a little bit. Moving on to... Oh, I'll quickly finish up talking about Miracle on 34th Street. It's a fine film. I wouldn't rush to watch it again. I'm glad I've seen it. It's definitely inferior to the original, but there isn't much in it, if I'm honest. Yeah. Moving on to Krampus. Now, this film I wanted to include in the 12 Days of Christmas because I'd heard so many mixed things on it. I'd heard people say how brilliant it was, and I'd heard people say how terrible it was. And there didn't seem to really be a middle ground, and lo and behold, I'm on the middle ground. I did enjoy the movie. Pardon me. I did enjoy the movie, but I didn't love it. I'm going to put it in the good tier. It's going to go there for me, but it's not by any means a fantastic film, and it's not by any means a bad film. It's kind of a 7 out of 10 movie. It's a lot of fun. And it really delves into this interesting mythology, which is this character of Krampus that is a true folklore. This character of Krampus really doesn't exist, but the myth and mythology of him does exist. And it would be very easy for a film to shoehorn him in and make him the front for this movie without actually explaining what he is or explaining the folklore around him. But this film does explain it really well, and I thought the film was just a lot of fun. It's not taking itself extremely seriously. It's having a bit of fun with the whole concept. It's very tongue-in-cheek, almost plays as kind of a B-movie, which I know a lot of people wouldn't enjoy, but I did enjoy that aspect of it. Mike says, I really enjoy Krampus. Not my favourite Christmas horror movie, but a lot of fun for sure. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It is definitely a lot of fun. And I would honestly say it's verging on a comedy. The film is really funny. Surprisingly funny. I don't have much to say about it. The performances are good. I didn't have much to say about it in my review either. Like, the direction's really nice. The practical effects are brilliant. The ending, however, the climax of the movie is very messy. It's not a lot of thought was put into it, in my opinion. They had this pretty decent story, and then they went, what's the quickest way we could wrap this up? And they did that. Yeah, the ending isn't great, in my opinion. I was left feeling very dissatisfied by it, but overall, Krampus is a really fun film. Okay, here we go. Spirited. I wasn't sure what to think. I was excited going into this one. I'd heard good things about it, but I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting a fine movie. I was honestly expecting it to kind of go in this kind of good tier. But lo and behold, zoom, straight into amazing. This movie was so good. I had so much fun with this film. It wasn't great. No, what am I saying? It was great. I was thinking of Krampus there for a second. Hold on. Let me just take 2 seconds to think. I was still on Krampus in my head. Spirited was exceptional. Since my initial review, it's actually jumped up in my estimations. Mike says not huge on Spirited, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I know some people aren't massive on this movie. Let me know what you think of it. Like, what's your thoughts on it, Mike? Be interesting to see that. For me, I just had so much fun with this film. I had an insane amount of fun with this movie, and again, it's not taking itself super seriously, and I think that the issues of this movie comes when it is taking itself seriously. For example, it kind of has the same problem Thor Love and Thunder. I know it's a weird comparison to make, but it kind of has the same problem that movie has, which is it's a very silly movie. Like, the whole film's very silly, and then they have these really serious scenes in which this woman's dying of cancer, and you just can't connect to it because it feels tonally out of place. The whole film, like, in this movie, they go from this woman dying of cancer, zoom straight back into this silly shenanigans with slapstick and like poo jokes and whatever this movie had in it, and swearing and whatever. Like, it was just a very strange film tonally, but most of it really hit me. The music was brilliant. I thought the music was exceptional. The songs were so incredibly catchy. The performances were great. It's honestly just keeps going up in my estimations. It was a really interesting concept, a really nice spin on the Christmas Carol story, which is such a beautiful story, and it's told really beautifully here. And it's honestly a film that I'm surprised hadn't been made already, because it seems like such an obvious concept for a movie. It feels the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present and Future is this company, this institution, who curate this experience for loads of people. Scrooge wasn't a one-off, and that Scrooge then died and became the Ghost of Christmas Present. It's such an interesting concept and such an obvious concept to do, and I'm surprised they didn't do it. I really liked the performances, but didn't really like the way that the film was shot or the music, honestly. Wow, okay. I loved the music. I thought the music was fantastic, especially the song Good Afternoon. Good Afternoon was really good. But yeah, no, that's fair enough. I can see how this wouldn't be someone's thing. In terms of the way it was shot, I was actually quite impressed with the way it was shot. I thought it looked really nice, really interesting direction. And there was this shot that they used a couple of times, this effect. It made it look like time had frozen, like everything around them had kind of just frozen. That effect looked amazing. But yeah, I absolutely adored Spirited. It's honestly a 9 out of 10 for me now, I think. It went well up in my estimations. I really want to watch it again. I had so much fun with it. So let's quickly pause and check in with Mr. Claus. See how he's doing. He is just left Chad and he is heading to Libya, and he has now delivered 3.4, almost 3.5 billion gifts. That's insane that he's delivered. He's delivered, what, 100, 200 million since we've been talking? That is insane. Since I last checked, that is honestly insane. Okay, let's talk about the Santa Claus. I'm going to pop it straight into its place. I'm between two. I'm between there and there for me. It's like, I'll go there. The Santa Claus was a lot of fun. I did really enjoy the Santa Claus. Again, it was one of those films I'd seen snippets of. Pardon me. I just had my dinner, and this is it playing up on me. Extremely impressive what Santa is able to pull off. Haha. Yeah, Mike, I know, it's insane, isn't it? But yeah, I had seen snippets of the Santa Claus on TV, and I'd never seen it all the way through. So that was the reason why I wanted to do this movie, is I just not seen it all the way through, and I had a really fun time with it. I thought Tim Allen was really charming. The whole concept is really interesting. As I said in my review, the concept of the Santa Claus, this contract, this clause, is big man gets about rapid. Yeah, I know, it's insane. I think he's must be on. They reindeer must be on some kind of drugs to be going that quickly. But yeah, as I said, the Santa Claus. What was I saying? The concept was really good, really interesting. The whole idea about the Santa Claus, like the wordplay on that is brilliant. This clause that you accidentally accept that makes you the next Santa, the Santa Claus. It's Cocaine Reindeer, the Cocaine Bear spin-off. Oh, that would be fantastic. Petition. Let's start a petition. Let's get that movie made. Cocaine Reindeer. Santa comes up with a plan to make his reindeer faster, and he gives them cocaine, and they go on this wild rampage and kill all the elves. Sounds great. Let's make it. If that film was a thing, it would be right at the top of this list. The Santa Claus. As I said, the wordplay is really good. The wordplay is brilliant. And I genuinely wouldn't surprise me if the film was written around this wordplay, because the wordplay is genuinely so good. In terms of direction, it's fairly nice. The effects are abysmal, as I said in my review. The effects look atrocious. They just look so cheap and so fakey, and I know it was the 90s, but come on. Like, you could have put a little bit more effort into your effects here, because they do look bad. But overall, it's a really fun movie. It's got a real nice message to it. It is a very cliched message, but the film handles it a lot more subtly than a lot of Christmas movies do. A lot of Christmas movies like to ram their message down the audience's throat, and this one definitely doesn't do that. And yeah, the whole concept of this man slowly turning into Santa is really nice. I don't like how quickly they killed off Santa, might I add. They kill off Santa so damn quickly in this movie. Like, he just slips off a roof and dies. Like, you learn nothing about the old Santa in this movie, which I didn't like. Mike says, I do agree on the effects, very cheap looking, but I watch it every year around the holiday. I can see how this would be someone's favourite Christmas movie. I can totally see that. It isn't personally one of mine, but I can totally see that. It's a lot of fun. The concept's really interesting, well executed for the most part. Performances are good. Tim Allen's really good in this one. As I said, I would come to a Tim Allen film that I really dug, but he's really good in this. The kid actor's brilliant. I just thought the whole cast was really nice, and the direction, other than the effects, is fairly decent as well. So yeah, it is a good film. Coming to Love Hard, I knew before starting the 12 Days of Christmas, I wanted a film like this in it. I wanted this Hallmark style Christmas film. I wanted this cheesy rom-com straight to TV Christmas film. And I was struggling to find one that actually was piquing my interest, because as much as there is such a selection of Hallmark Christmas films, they all seem to have the same plot. And I didn't want one that just had, I wanted one that I might actually enjoy. And this one got recommended to me by my good friends Courtney and Ryan. They said it was a really good film, and to check it out for my 12 Days of Christmas. So I did. And surprisingly, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a harmless little movie. It was really sweet and really charming, and just, if a movie could give you a hug, Love Hard would give you a hug. Again, nice wordplay in the title. I got a comment on my review yesterday, I think, saying they should have called it, I think it was from Fergus, who I go to uni with. They said, because it's obviously Love Hard, Love Actually, Die Hard combined, they should make a movie called Die Actually. And I'm like, that's a very different movie. But yeah, it's a really charming little story. When I heard the plot about this woman that gets catfished and has to pretend to be this guy's boyfriend around the holidays, I wasn't extremely impressed with that concept, but it is actually well executed. The humour is brilliant in the movie. I was laughing out loud multiple occasions in the film, and the characters are written so incredibly well. The characters are genuinely brilliant in the movie. Like as I said, like they're just characters that you want to hang out with, and it does something really interesting. Because obviously our main character catfishes someone. Well, our main male character catfishes someone in the movie. And that seems like quite an unredeemable thing. Like, he's a bad guy. But the film actually makes him this really nice character and pulls it off really well. And I thought that was really well done by the movie and by the filmmakers. There are some low points in terms of humour. There's this scene in a karaoke bar which is genuinely incredibly unfunny, and it was what I thought the film was going to be before going in. Luckily, it isn't. And the ending, they do this kind of... I don't want to spoil anything, but they do this kind of... They copy a scene out of Love Actually for the ending. And I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was incredibly soppy, and a much braver ending would be to cut off that section. If they had it, the two characters going their separate ways at the end, pardon me, it would have been a much braver film, in my opinion. It would have been a lot higher in my estimations. But as it is, I still think it's a really good film. Direction's fairly just standard Netflix, straight to Netflix film direction. There is one sequence in the movie at an engagement party that is filmed and edited extremely manically, and it's brilliant, and it's got some really nice shots. But just in terms of humour and character, I really loved this film, and I will definitely be checking this out in Christmases to come, because I just want to hang out with these characters again. They're incredibly charming. Coming to the last movie, Santa Claus the Movie. This is another one that gets a surprisingly low score on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, 22%. And I was like, how bad can it be? And it wasn't bad. It was really enjoyable. I'd pop it in there. I had a great time with Santa Claus the Movie. It was my second favourite of the films I watched. In terms of the films that made me feel Christmassy, this one takes the win. The film is directed exceptionally. The effects they have this real nostalgic feel to them, and they're just really nice. And the colours, oh man, the colours in this movie are off the scales. They look absolutely fantastic. The story's really nice. As I said, I'm really interested with the origin of Santa Claus, and this film probably focuses on the origin of Santa Claus more than any other movie. It's a really nice story, really wholesome, really charming, really heartwarming film. And it's just incredibly Christmassy. It's silly. It is a very silly movie. It's not taking itself seriously at all. Like, there's just John Lithgow plays this really over the top and almost cartoony villain, but it fits the movie so well. I can see how this is like a cult classic. It's just such a fun time. I had such a great time with it. The guy playing Santa, I can't remember his name. Sorry to anyone that's a massive fan of him. But I love him. He's genuinely probably the best Santa Claus ever put to screen, in my opinion. Captures Santa so incredibly well. It's just such a charming movie. There are problems with it. I do think the direction maybe gets a little bit overwhelming at some times. It almost kind of becomes wrapped up in its own style a little bit, that it becomes a little bit overwhelming in places. And also the second half is not nearly as good as the first half. The first half is insanely brilliant. just telling this origin of Santa. Once it goes into the second half, whilst it is still good, it isn't nearly as good. But overall, Santa Claus the movie is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. So there we go. There is my tier list ranking for all 12 of the 12 Days of Christmas movies that I done this year. If anyone's got any last thoughts on it, please let me know in the comments below. And then we shall move on and do a little quiz before I wrap up this stream. Also done my water. I should have put the mic back. Also done my water. Okay, so we're going to do a quick Christmas quiz to wrap up the stream. Please join in the comments. It's more for you guys, this quiz, than me. I'll play along as well, but let's try and find a quiz. So let's do 40 fun Christmas movie trivia questions and answers. Oh, that one tells me the answers. I don't want that. Dad says, what's your favourite Christmas movie? I have 3 Christmas films that are my favourites. Love Actually, Die Hard, yes it is a Christmas movie, and if you don't agree with me, we can have an argument, and Home Alone. They're my 3 favourite Christmas films of all time. I'm trying to find a little quiz for us to do. Oh, these have got the answers too. I want one that doesn't have the answers. I feel like we've done that one last year as well. No, 2023. We'll do this. Let's do this one. The Ultimate Christmas Movie Trivia Quiz 2023. I feel like we did this last year. Okay. We'll do it again. So everyone, please join in the comments below. What's the name of the boy who's left to look after himself in Home Sweet Home Alone? That is the 6th installment in the tired Home Alone franchise. Is it Matt Mercer, Max Mercer, Jack Mercer, or Kevin McAllister? Planes, Trains and Automobiles isn't a Christmas movie. It's a Thanksgiving movie, which I feel like is close enough. It's a Thanksgiving movie. Matt Mercer, Max Mercer, Jack Mercer, or Kevin McAllister? What's everyone thinking? Put down in the comments below what you think. Matt Mercer, Max Mercer, Jack Mercer, or Kevin McAllister? What's the name of the boy who's left to look after himself in Home Sweet Home Alone? Matt Mercer, Max Mercer, Jack Mercer, Kevin McAllister. I can't believe there's been 6 Home Alone movies. It's a franchise that really needs to stop. Like, I think the first one is the only exceptional one. The rest, I like 2 and 3. 4 and 5 are abysmal. And I didn't mind 6, but it's a franchise that just needs to learn when to stop. It should have been done after the first one. Dad says Max. I believe you're correct, Dad. I do think it is Max. Okay. Who is I think we get these answers at the end, so we'll go through them at the end. Who is Jeronicus Jangle in Jingle Jangle? Is he a toy maker, an elf, a Christmas tree salesman, or an evil wizard? I've never seen this movie. I almost made the list for 12 Days of Christmas, but it just missed out. Same with Violent Night and A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. They were the 3 that missed out on being watched this year. So what we're thinking, guys, who is Jeronicus Jangle in Jingle Jangle? Is he a toy maker, an elf, a Christmas tree salesman, or an evil wizard? Have a guess if you're not sure, guys. Have a guess. What we're thinking, guys? I'm honestly between a toy maker and a Christmas tree salesman. He doesn't look evil. He looks like a nice wee guy. Look at him. Mum says toy maker. Oh well. What Mum says goes. So let's do toy maker. In Frozen 2. Oh, I've not seen Frozen 2 in a hot minute. What is the tribe called? Northalsia? Sammy? Northuldra, or Southuldra? In Frozen 2, what's the tribe called? Is it Northalsia, Sami, Northuldra, or Southuldra? I feel like these two at the bottom are similar, so it needs to be them. Dad says Sami. Okay. I've not seen the I genuinely can't remember anything about the movie. I also just realised that this isn't Elsa. It's an old man. Or an old woman. I thought this was Elsa for a second. Anyone else got anything to say? Dad says Sami. Anyone else disagree? When Frozen 2, what is the tribe called? Northalsia, Sami, Northuldra, or Southuldra? Okay, we're going to go with Sami. We're going to stick with Dad's thoughts on that one. Where is Nativity set? The USA, the UK, France, or Mexico? Now, I will say this quickly. Nativity 2, Danger in the Manger is honestly one of my favourite Christmas movies. I adore that film. I think it's great. It's so much fun. David Tennant's so good in it. But where is Nativity set? Is it the USA, the UK, France, or Mexico? If you can look at the actor that we have here, Mr. Martin Freeman, that might give you a little clue as to where it's set. Dad says UK. And I am going to agree with him. It is the UK. Which city is the second Home Alone film set in? Is it New York, Chicago, LA, or Atlanta? New York, Chicago, LA, or Atlanta? What are people thinking for this one? Dad says New York. I think it is. I actually believe the movie is called Home Alone 2. Lost in New York, so I would be inclined to say New York. So we're going to lock that one in. In Mickey's Christmas Carol, I've not seen Mickey's Christmas Carol in a hot minute. Wow, I forgot that was a thing. Jamie says New York as well for that one. Yep, I believe you're correct, mate. Who does Mickey play? Stop calling me Dad, making me feel old. Well, it's the truth. In it, and I'll tell you something else that'll make you feel old. That's me, 20, Dad. 20 years old. In Mickey's Christmas Carol, who does Mickey play? Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim, or the Ghost of Christmas Past? Jamie says, hi, Stuart. Yep, that's my dad, Jamie. So I don't think you've ever met my dad, so there you go. In Mickey's Christmas Carol, who does Mickey play? And if you don't know who Jamie is, Dad, I worked with Jamie in the food bank. Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim, or the Ghost of Christmas Present? In Mickey's Christmas Carol, who does Mickey play? Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim, or the Ghost of Christmas Present? What are we thinking for this one? Stuart says, hey Jamie, heard good things about you. Aye, nothing but good things to say about you, Jamie. You're a good guy. What are we thinking for this one, guys? Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim, or the Ghost of Christmas Present? Jamie says the Ghost of Christmas Present. Okay. Stuart says good guy. Jamie says, oh, that's good then. We'll lock in Jamie's answer if that's the only one we're getting. We'll go Ghost of Christmas Present. Dad, do you have anything to say? Do you disagree? Do you agree? What are we thinking for this one? And anyone else in the chat, what are we thinking? In Mickey's Christmas Carol, who does Mickey play? Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim, or the Ghost of Christmas Present? Dad says Bob C. I'm guessing that's Bob Cratchit. From this picture alone, it looks like he's playing Bob Cratchit. So I'm going to lock in Bob Cratchit. But it might be, you might be right, Jamie, and I might be eating my words. What is the Santa Claus? If you don't believe in Santa, you don't get any wishes. If you put on Santa's clothes, you have to take over his role. If you wish upon a star, you become Santa's assistant. If you shout Santa's name 3 times, he'll appear. Now, I kind of said this one earlier. So, what are we thinking for this one? What is the Santa Claus? If you don't believe in Santa, you don't get any wishes. If you put on Santa's clothes, you have to take over his role. If you wish upon a star, you become Santa's assistant. If you shout his name 3 times, he'll appear. Mike's reviews and analysis says Santa's clothes. And seeing as Mike watches it every year, I think we got to go with him. Which famous author is the man who invented Christmas About? This movie looks interesting. Michael Gambon there. William Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Stephen King, or Charles Dickens? I feel like this one's fairly obvious. If you know who wrote A Christmas Carol, I feel like this one's fairly obvious. Which famous author is the man who invented Christmas About? William Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Stephen King, or Charles Dickens? Which famous author is the man who invented Christmas About? William Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Stephen King, or Charles Dickens? Just think about who wrote A Christmas Carol. Dad says Charles Dickens. Is his author knowledge holding up? I'm going to lock it in. Which one of these action movies is set at Christmas? This one's very obvious. John Wick, Die Hard, The Terminator, or The Matrix? A John Wick film set at Christmas would be interesting, you know. that'd be a fun movie. Which one of these action movies is set at Christmas? John Wick, Die Hard, The Terminator, or The Matrix? I'll give you a clue. It says it right here. Yippee-ki-yay. Die Hard, best film for Christmas in my opinion. Yes, I agree. It's probably the best Christmas movie. Love Actually is probably my favourite Christmas movie, but objectively Die Hard's probably the best. What's the name of the town in It's a Wonderful Life? Norrisville, Peterville, Bedford Falls, or Christmastown? What's the name of the town in It's a Wonderful Life? Is it Norrisville, Peterville, Bedford Falls, or Christmastown? It's been a while since I saw It's a Wonderful Life. I meant to rewatch it this year and I've just not got the chance. Because I've only seen it the once and that was ages ago. Does anyone want to have a shot in the dark at this one? Unless somebody knows the answer. Dad says, Norrisville, Mum says. Oh, again, Mum said something, so I think we might need to go for Norrisville. Because Mum said it, Mum's word goes. So we might need to go for Norrisville here, guys. Let's lock it in. Norrisville. Totally random question. Which of these brands do you think is cool? What? Smiths. Smiths is great. I love Smiths. Let's lock that in. Are you a boy or a girl? Why? I prefer not to say. Go away. How old are you? I'm older. Go away. Okay. Who plays Father Christmas in Miracle on 34th Street? David Attenborough, Richard Attenborough, Bill Murray, or Sean Connery? David Attenborough, Richard Attenborough, Bill Murray, or Sean Connery? And I said that this man gives a really good performance in the film. He's exceptional in the movie. Dad says Richard A. Could be right. I don't know if David Attenborough's done any acting. I'm going to assume he's not. Jamie says Richard. Lol, Sean Connery. Imagine a Santa played by Sean Connery. That would have been amazing. Yes, it is Richard Attenborough. What's the name of this character from The Nightmare Before Christmas? John Skellington, Bonnie Susan, sorry, not Bonnie. My Scottish is coming on. Bonnie Susan, Jack Skellington, or Ghostly George? Dad says Shanta. My name's Sean Connery, and I shall be playing Shanta. What's the name of this character from The Nightmare Before Christmas? Is it John Skellington, Bonnie Susan, Jack Skellington, Skeleton, or Ghostly George? Does look a bit like a George, doesn't he? John Skeleton, Boney Susan, Jack Skellington, or Ghostly George? What we thinking, guys? Dad says Jack Skellington. The name's Shanta Connery. The name's Connery. The name's Closh. Shanta Closh. I believe you're correct, Dad. Jack Skellington. How many Home Alone films are there? 1, 2, 5. Too many at this point. Well, I told you how many there are at the start. There's 6. So we'll just lock that one in. Too many at this point. What's wrong with the Grinch? He's heartless and hates Christmas. He doesn't believe in Santa. He's turkey intolerant. He can't sneeze with his mouth closed. A fairly obvious one, I believe. What's wrong with the Grinch? He's heartless and hates Christmas. He doesn't believe in Santa. He's turkey intolerant. He can't sneeze with his mouth closed. Mike and Jamie say he's heartless and hates Christmas. I believe that is correct. And I love this little weird looking Grinch. I don't even know what this is meant to be. Is it meant to be the Grinch? I don't know. Buddy the Elf isn't really an elf. True or false? Daniel says it's Pish. What's Pish? The Grinch? Is that what you're saying is Pish? Buddy the Elf isn't really an elf. True or false? Elf, that's another one of my favourite Christmas movies. Elf is so good. I've not watched Elf this year. I really mean to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. Hopefully in between Christmas and New Year I'll get a watch. Dad says true. What's everyone else thinking? Buddy the Elf isn't really an elf. That Grinch looks like either Gollum or a hairless cat. Yeah, it has got a little bit of Gollum about it, hasn't it? Yeah, my precious. I think everyone's saying true for this one, so we'll lock it in. Why is it giving me Frozen questions? I wouldn't say Frozen is as a Christmas film. Anyway, what's the name of Anna and Elsa's kingdom in Frozen? Eurodale, Yorkshire, oh god, Jorgut, or Arendelle? Eurodale, Yorkshire, Jorgut, or Arendelle? What's everyone thinking for this one? Dad says Arendelle. I believe you could be correct. Been a while since I've seen Frozen. It's probably the most okay Disney film in the world. It's not bad, it's not good. I actually prefer the second Frozen in my honest opinion. I believe you're correct, Dad. I believe it is Arendelle. Oh, here's my mum's favourite Christmas movie. The Muppet Christmas Carol is based on a book by which author? Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, Charles Babbage, or Charlie XCX? Oh, that's funny. I said this one earlier. Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, Charles Babbage, or Charlie XCX? What are we thinking? Mum says Dickens. I believe Mum is correct with this one. I believe it is Charles Dickens. What's Arnold Schwarzenegger looking for in Jingle All the Way? Terrible movie, by the way. I really don't see how anybody likes it. It's a really bad film. A Turbo Woman toy, a Turbo Person toy, a Turbo Man toy, or a Turbo toy. If you haven't seen the movie, this one could be quite difficult. Daniel says great movie. No, Daniel, it's really not. I didn't like that film at all. It's been a while since I saw it, right enough, but I just remember it being pretty terrible. Dad says Turbo Man toy. I believe you're correct. Who is Arthur Christmas Dad? Turbo Man, such a realistic movie in terms of last minute shopping. That is true. Who is Arthur Christmas Dad? A talking snowman, Father Christmas, a reindeer, or Jesus? Be a very different movie if his dad was Jesus. Very different movie. Talking Snowman, Father Christmas, a reindeer, or Jesus? What are we thinking? Father Christmas. I've never even seen Arthur Christmas. Yeah, it's Father Christmas. I had to sit through that terrible film. What's unusual about Olaf the Snowman? Again, a Frozen question. Is that a Christmas film? Who knows? He has a Cockney accent. He has 10 toes on each foot. That sounds terrifying. He studied snowman studies at Cambridge, or he likes the summer. He has a Cockney accent. He has 10 toes on each foot. He studied snowman studies at Cambridge, or he likes the summer. He likes summer. Frozen is definitely not Christmas. Takes place in the summer. That's what I was saying. Like, it's really not a Christmas movie. Last question. And it's another one for Mum, if you're listening, for The Muppet Christmas Carol. Which of these is not a Muppet in The Muppet Christmas Carol? Kermit, Miss Piggy, Minecraft the llama, or Rizzle the rat. Kermit, Miss Piggy, Minecraft the llama, or Rizzle the rat. Fairly obvious. Kermit, Miss Piggy, Minecraft the llama, or Rizzle the rat. Everyone's saying Minecraft the llama. Let's lock it in. We got 18 out of 21. I think that's a pretty good score. What ones did we get wrong? Let's go back up to the top. Max Mercer's correct. A Toy Maker's correct. They were the North Uldra in Frozen 2, not the Sammy. UK, New York, Bob Cratchit. Dun. It was Bedford Falls in Wonderful Life. Richard Attenborough, Jack Skellington. There's not 5. There's 6. Home Alone franchise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This quiz is wrong. I'm counting that. I'm counting that as correct. Yep. Okay, so we actually got 19 out of 21. Well done, everyone. You done a fantastic job. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this live stream here, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And thank you for all the support on the channel this last year. I think we started this year with something like, I don't know if it was just under 400 subscribers or 400 subscribers. But we started this year with 400-ish subscribers, and now we're at 600. 200 subscribers in a year. I'm very over the moon with that, and yeah, just thank you everyone for showing loads of support to the channel, because it really does mean a lot. And I really hope you enjoy the content that comes in 2024. Mike says, where's Santa at now? Let's have a little look, shall we? Santa is in Germany. He has just left Sweden and he's heading for Germany now. And he's delivered 3.6 billion gifts, almost 3.7, which is a lot of gifts. But yeah, thank you guys for the support on the channel. As I said, it's genuinely a bit mind-boggling to me how many subscribers I've gained in the year. That is an insane leap. Congrats. Thank you very much, Mike. And again, thank you for your support on the channel, because you constantly comment, constantly just like the videos, just show me a lot of love. So thank you very much. Have a good Christmas, Jamie. Thank you very much. You too, mate. Keep plugging away, Jack. Merry Christmas, everyone. I shall do. So yeah, as I said, I have started uni, so content might slightly slow down, but I've no plans on stopping anytime soon. I have some exciting content planned for 2024, and yeah, I'm just really excited to continue this channel and grow it. The next time you'll see me is probably in my Christmas Blu-ray haul. I do that every year, so I'll try and get that out in between Christmas and New Year. But as for now, I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and thank you for all the support on the channel. See you later, and you're very welcome for the support. Thank you again, Mike. Love, bro. Catch up soon. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, mate. Jamie said, remember we had that Home Alone question last year's quiz and still get it wrong. I think we did actually, now that I think about it. Thank you guys again. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for all your amazing contributions in the chat. Adios and Feliz Navidad. Yes, Feliz Navidad to you too, Mike. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.